All right, so we're still working on finding absolute value and ordering numbers. Okay, so let's look at this first example. Oh, we're working on pages 128 and 129 in our packet. So a 6th grade class is studying transportation in New York City. They collected this data about the heights above ground and depths below ground of different structures. Write the names of these structures in order from lowest to highest. Okay, so small to big. So we have Verrazano Narrows Bridge at 70 meters, Holland Tunnel at -25 meters, George Washington Bridge at 60 meters, and Lincoln Tunnel at -30 meters. So if we look at a number line, okay, and we just approximately place these. So zeros here, okay, 60 and 70 are above 0, okay, and then -25 and -30 are below 0. And so then we can easily see them and in their order. And remember that always to the left are our small numbers, always to the right are bigger numbers. So you can see at -30, Lincoln Tunnel is first, then Holland, then George Washington, then Verrazano's Narrow Bridge, in order from least to greatest or lowest to highest elevation. Okay. All right, so number 16. Eyeglass prescriptions use positive and negative numbers to describe vision. In general, the farther away from 0 the number on a prescription is, the more vision correction you need. Negative numbers mean you are nearsighted. Positive numbers mean you're farsighted. The table shows prescription numbers for 5 patients. Okay, so you'll probably want to remember that the negative numbers are nearsighted and positive numbers are farsighted. Okay, so it says which patients are nearsighted and which patients are farsighted, and then which patient is the most nearsighted and which patient is the most farsighted. Okay, well, so let's think about this. If here's 0, okay, so remember we have +1, +2, +3, -1, -2, and -3, right? And then if we place these, well, this one's just a little bit more here. So this is patient A, patient B, patient C, patient D, and patient E. Okay? And then we say, okay, the negative numbers are nearsighted. So these people over here are nearsighted. Okay, so if we wrote that, right, nearsighted are E, A, and C. Okay? The patients to this side, the positive side, these are the farsighted. Okay, so we have B and D. So we've answered both of these questions. Then it says which one is the most nearsighted and which one is the most farsighted. So the most nearsighted is the further away, right? So patient E is the most nearsighted. And then the farthest to the right, patient D is the most farsighted. Okay, so we've answered all 4 questions. All right, let's turn the page. Which number is greater, -7 or +6? Which number has the greater absolute value, -7 or +6? Explain your thinking. Use comparison symbols and absolute value symbols when you write your answer. Okay, so let's look at the first question. Which number is greater? So we have -7 compared to +6. Well, remember we talked about using, thinking of it as money, right? So you either owe somebody $7 or you have $6 in your pocket. I would rather have $6 in my pocket, right? So 6 is greater than -7, okay? But then it says which number has the greater absolute value. And I know some of you are still struggling about absolute value. Remember, absolute value just means the distance from 0. So if you think about here's 0 and here's -7, to get from here to here is a distance of 7. So that means that the absolute value of -7 is +7. Distance can't be negative, okay? Then we have the absolute value of 6. So from 0 to 6, that distance is 6. So the absolute value of 6 is still +6 because distance is always positive. So now we're comparing 7 to 6. Well, if you have $7 or you have $6, I'd rather have 7. So the absolute value of -7 is actually greater than the absolute value of 6. This is actually greater, okay? All right, question 18. The table below shows elevations of different locations in the world. List the elevations in order from greatest to least. Circle the letter of the correct answer. Okay, so we want greatest to least. Okay, so give yourself a quick little number line. Okay, these numbers are getting pretty big, so I'll jump. Let's go with 50, 100, 150, 200, 250, and this side -50, -100. Okay, so let's place these values. All right, so that's about here. +230, -52, +75, and +92. Okay, so we want the greatest to least. So that means 230 is the greatest, then goes to 92, then goes to 75, then goes to -52, and then goes to -98. So we look over here, and that's this one, okay? So then it says, but Randy chose B. How did he get that answer? So look at B. If you notice, B goes in the opposite direction. So Randy didn't follow directions. Randy went from least to greatest instead of greatest to least. So Randy chose B because he didn't follow directions and ordered them from least to greatest. Okay, so make sure you have that all written. Watch this video a couple of times if you need to, and then you can take your quiz.